Hello everyone. Today we will study correlation. Suppose we have two variables x and y, and if as one variable changes, the other variable also changes in the same or opposite direction, we say that the variables x and y are correlated. So correlation means the study of existence and the magnitude and direction of the variations between two or more variables. Now, one of the most simple methods of studying correlation between the two variables is to construct a scatter diagram. So how to construct a scatter diagram? We take one variable along the x-axis and the other variable along the y-axis. When we plot a data in this way, we get points which are generally scattered, but which shows a particular pattern. The way in which the points are scattered indicates a degree and direction of correlation. If the points are close to each other, we say that the variables are correlated. And if they are spread away from each other, we say that the variables are not correlated. If the points lie in a narrow strip rising from left-hand bottom to the right-hand top, we say that there is a strong positive correlation. And if the points lie in a narrow strip falling from left-hand top to the right-hand side, right-hand bottom, we say that there is a negative correlation. And if the points are all spread over, we say that there is no correlation or there is a zero correlation. So the method of scatter diagram is descriptive in nature and gives only a general idea of correlation. That is why we have two different methods of calculating the correlation. The first method is known as the Karl-Pearson's coefficient of correlation, and the second one is Spearman's rank correlation. So today we will study about Karl-Pearson's coefficient of correlation. Now, Karl-Pearson's coefficient of correlation is denoted by small r. Karl-Pearson's coefficient of correlation is denoted by small r and is defined as r is equal to covariance of x comma y divided by sigma x sigma y. Sigma x is called as the standard deviation of x and sigma y is called as the standard deviation of y. So COV x comma y is called as the covariance of x comma y. Sigma x is the standard deviation of x and sigma y is the standard deviation of y, where covariance of x comma y is defined as 1 upon n summation of x minus x bar into y minus y bar, where x bar and y bar are the means of x and y. X bar is summation x by n and y bar is summation y by n. Similarly, standard deviation, sigma x. Sigma x is the square root of the variance, or we can define sigma x square, which is called as the variance of x, as 1 upon n summation of x minus x bar the whole square. Sigma x square is called as the variance and sigma x is called as the standard deviation. Similarly, we can define sigma y square as 1 upon n summation of y minus y bar the whole square, which is called as the variance of y, and sigma y is the standard deviation of y. Now substituting all these expressions in this equation of r, we get r is equal to. So when I substitute the covariance of x comma y and sigma x and sigma y, we get r is equal to 1 by n. The numerator part is the covariance of xy. This is square root of sigma x square and this is square root of sigma y square. Okay. So now if 1 by n is there in the numerator, denominator also we have 1 by n, because there is 1 by n under root. So when it comes out, only 1 by n will remain in the denominator and this 1 by n and 1 by n will get cancelled. So we get the first formula for the coefficient of correlation, or the Karl-Pearson's coefficient of correlation, is small r is equal to summation of x minus x bar into y minus y bar upon square root of summation x minus x bar the whole square into square root of summation y minus y bar the whole square. This is one of the formulas for calculating the coefficient of correlation. Now if I expand, if I open the bracket and simplify, we get the second form of the coefficient of correlation, which is given by summation xy minus n into x bar y bar upon square root of x square minus n into x bar square into square root of summation y square minus n into y bar square. Okay, just opening this bracket and simplifying a minus b the whole square and all those things. When we simplify that, we will get it in this particular form. The third form is got by substituting x bar as summation x by n and y bar as summation y by n. So here we have r is equal to, this is the third formula. So r is equal to summation xy minus summation x summation y upon n upon square root of summation x square minus summation x the whole square upon n into square root of summation y square minus summation y square upon n. This is the third formula. So we will be using first and the third formulas. Okay, we won't be making use of the second formula. We will be applying the first and the third formula. The first formula was r is equal to summation of x minus x bar into y minus y bar upon square root of summation x minus x bar the whole square into square root of summation y minus y bar the whole square. We're making use of these two formulas in solving the problem or in calculating the coefficient of correlation. And when we simplify, we have to see that the value of small r should lie between -1 and +1. That is very important. Okay, when we simplify by any one of these formulas, the r value should lie between -1 and +1. The first method, that is called as the direct method. Now, direct method makes use of this formula. The direct method makes use of this formula. Okay, if we take an example, find the Karl-Pearson's coefficient of correlation from the following data. Okay, you are having these data. Okay, so now our aim is to substitute these summations in this formula and get the value of r. That is the Karl-Pearson's coefficient of correlation. So what are the things required? Summation x, summation y, n. How much is n? There are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 data are given for x and y. So n is equal to 6. Summation x. This is x. If I add all the values, I will get summation x. Similarly, y. So we have to form a table which contains summation x, summation y, summation xy, summation x square and summation y square. So in the next step, we have to form the table which has x, y, xy, x square and y square. So in the next step, we are forming a table with x, y, xy, x square and y square. X and y are already given in the problem. Okay, x data are given, y data are given. Now calculating x into y. So 2 into 18, 36, 4 into 12, 48, 5 into 10, 50, 6 into 8, 48, 8 into 7, 56, 11 into 5, 55. Similarly, calculating x square. X square is the square of these values of x. 2 square is 4, 4 square is 16, 5 square is 25, 6 square is 36, 8 square is 64, 11 square is 121. In a similar way, calculating the square of the y data. 18 square 324, 12 square 144, 10 square is 100, 8 square is 64, 7 square is 49 and 5 square is 25. So calculating the summation of each of these columns or adding all the values. So adding the first column, we will get summation x as 36, similarly summation y 60, summation xy 293, summation x square 266 and summation y square is 706. Now substituting all these values in the formula for R, substituting all these summations which we have got in the previous table. So summation xy we got 293, summation x 36, summation y 60, n is equal to the number of datas given, that is 6, and then summation x squared 266, summation y squared 706. Substituting everything and simplifying using Calc, we get the answer as minus 0.9203. So there is a negative correlation and the value of R lies between minus 1 and plus 1. Next problem, the same problem using the same direct formula. Karl-Pearson's coefficient of correlation from the following data. Again, you are given x datas and y datas. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Again, n is equal to 6 here. Okay. So again, our aim is to calculate summation x, summation y, summation xy, summation x square and summation y square. So we have to form the table according to these summations. The first column will be x, second column will be y, third will be xy, fourth x square and fifth is y square. So we have to form the table and calculate the sum of all the datas in those particular columns and substitute in this function. So again forming the table. So x we have this value, y value is already given. Multiplying x and y, we get the xy column. Square of x will get x square and square of y will get y square. 8 into 3, 24, 8 into 4, 32, 7 into 10, 70, 5 into 13, 65, 6 into 22, 132, 2 into 8 is 16. Squaring of the x values. 8 square 64, 7 square 49, 5 square 25, 6 square 36, 2 square is 4. Similarly, calculating y square, square of the y values. 3 square is 9, 4 square is 16, 10 square is 100, 13 square is 169, 22 square is 484, 8 square is 64. Adding all these columns and calculating these summations. So 339 summation xy, summation x square is 242, summation y square is 842 and summation x and y are 36 and 60. Substituting everything in the same formula. Substituting all these summations in the same formula, we get the value of R to be equal to minus 0.2647. Okay. All these summations we have it in the previous table. So substituting summation xy, summation x, summation y, we know n is equal to 6 as 6 datas are given. Summation x square is 242. Summation x the whole square. We got summation x as 36. So 36 the whole square upon 6. Summation y square is 842. Summation y is 60. So 60 square upon 6. And when I simplify all these values, I will get the answer as minus 0.2647. Again, it's a negative correlation and the value of R lies between minus 1 and plus 1. Second method. You can solve the problem by any one of these methods. They are not going to specify the method. You can use any one of this. I'm showing you the 3 methods. So whichever you feel it's easy, you can apply that particular method. Now actual mean method. Now actual mean means we have to calculate the actual mean of x and y, and then substituting in summation x minus x bar, y minus y bar and these values. Okay, so actual means are to be calculated for this method. Again, for example, finding the Karl-Pearson's coefficient of correlation. Again, you're given x and you're given y. So first step is we want x bar. X bar is the mean of x. Now mean of x is calculated as summation of all the values divided by the total number. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So x bar will be summation of x divided by 7. So we get x bar to be summation x divided by n, and if I add all these values of x, we will get 772 upon the total number of data given, that is 7. So we get 110. Similarly, y bar is the summation of y divided by the total number. So y bar will become summation y upon n. Y bar is also equal to 770 upon 7, that is equal to 110. Now we require x minus x bar. Okay, in both numerator and denominator we require x minus x bar and y minus y bar. So we have to now form the column x minus x bar, y minus y bar, then x minus x bar into y minus y bar and these square. The table will contain, now these are x and y. Okay, first column will be x and y. Next we have to calculate x minus x bar. X bar is 110. So each element of x has to be subtracted from 110. 100 minus 110. 102 minus 110. Each value of x has to get subtracted from 110. Similarly, y minus y bar. Each y value minus 110. 100 minus 110. And accordingly, we have to form the table. Okay. So we are writing x values, y values. X bar is 110, y bar is 110. So calculating x minus 110. 100 minus 110 minus 10. 102 minus 110 minus 8. 108 minus 110 minus 2. 111 minus 110, 1. 115 minus 110, that's again 5. 116 minus 110, that is 6. 118 minus 110, 8. Similarly, y bar is also 110, subtracting 110 from 110. So 110 minus 110, 0. 100 minus 110, minus 10. 104 minus 110, minus 6. 108 minus 110, minus 2. 112 minus 110, 2. 116 minus 110, 6. 120 minus 110, that is 10. Now multiply these. Next we require is x minus, we don't require these summations. We require only x minus x bar into y minus y bar, x minus x bar the whole square, y minus y. Only these three columns are required. But to calculate these three columns, we require x minus x bar and y minus y bar. So x minus x bar into y minus y bar. Minus 10 into 0, 0. Minus 8 into minus 10, 80. Minus 2 into minus 6, 12. 1 into minus 2, minus 2. 5 into 2, 10. 6 into 6, 36. 8 into 10, 80. Now x minus x bar the whole square. Minus 10 square, 100. Minus 8 square, 64. Minus 2 square, 4. 1 square, 1. 5 square, 25. 6 square, 36. 8 square is 64. Similarly, y minus y bar the whole square. 0 square is 0. Minus 10 square is 100. Minus 6 square is 36. 1 square is 4. Minus 2 square is 4. 2 square is 4. 6 square is 36. 10 square is 100. Calculating the summation of these last three columns. Summation of x minus x bar into y minus y bar. It comes out to be 216. Here 294 is summation of x minus x bar the whole square, and y minus y bar the whole square summation is 280. We don't require all these summations because in the formula nowhere we are having these summations. Whatever summations are there in the formula, accordingly you have to form the table and calculate those summations. This is the formula we have to apply, and then substituting these summations and calculating the value of R. So we get summation x minus x bar into y minus y bar, we got 216. Summation of x minus x bar the whole square is 294, and summation of y minus y bar the whole square is 280. Simplifying this, we get 0.7528, again a positive correlation, and the R value lies between minus 1 and plus 1. Same way, one more problem using the actual mean method. Again, we require x bar and y bar. X bar is the mean of x, y bar is the mean of y. Again, calculating x bar and y bar. So x bar will become summation x, adding all the values of x divided by the total number. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Total number is 8. So summation x we get 544 upon 8, that is 68. Summation y is 69. Adding all the values of y divided by 8. That comes out to be 69. Now again we have to form the table which has x minus x bar, y minus y bar, summation of x minus x bar into y minus y bar, summation of x minus x bar the whole square, and summation of y minus y bar the whole square, which means that each value of x has to be subtracted from 68 and each value of y has to be subtracted from 69. So next table will be subtracting x bar is 68. So x minus x bar will become 65 minus 68 minus 3. 66 minus 68 minus 2. 67 minus 68 minus 1. Again minus 1. 68 minus 68 0. 69 minus 68 is 1. 70 minus 68 is 2. 72 minus 68 is 4. Similarly, y bar is 69. So subtracting 67 minus 69 minus 2. 68 minus 69 minus 1. 65 minus 69 minus 4. 68 minus 69 minus 1 and so on. And then multiplying these two columns to get x minus x bar into y minus y bar. Minus 3 into minus 2, 6. Minus 2 into minus 1, 2. Minus 1 into minus 4, 4. Minus 1 into minus 1, 1. 0 into 3, 0. 1 into 3, 3. 2 into 0, 0. 4 into 2, 8. Similarly, square of these numbers is x minus x bar the whole square. Minus 3 square 9, minus 2 square 4, minus 1 square 1, again 1, 0, 1, 2 square is 4, 4 square is 16. Y minus y bar the whole square. Minus 2 square is 4, minus 1 square is 1, minus 4 square is 16, minus 1 square is 1, 3 square is 9, 3 square is again 9, 0 square, 2 square is 4. Calculating the summations. X minus x bar into y minus y bar summation is 24. X minus x bar the whole square summation is 36. Similarly, y minus y bar the whole square summation is 44. We don't require these summations as we don't have the summations of these terms in the formula. Substituting everything in the formula for R. So summation we got x minus x bar into y minus y bar is 24. Summation of x minus x bar the whole square is 36 and summation of y minus y bar the whole square is 44. Simplifying, we get again 0.6030, a positive correlation, and the value lies between minus 1 and plus 1. Next method, assumed mean method. Now this formula is same as your first method, which is the direct method. In the direct method, we had the formula as summation xy minus summation x summation y upon n. Now here, instead of x and y, we are having dx and dy. That is only the change. Same first formula, first direct method formula, except x and y, we are having dx and dy. So I'll tell you what are dx and dy. Again, one problem based on this assumed mean method. Again, you are given x and y. We can apply any one method. I'm giving you all the three methods. Whichever method you feel it easy, apply that. So now, it is assumed. As the name indicates, assumed mean. We are not going to calculate the actual mean. We are trying to find the midpoint of these values of x. Now, how many data are there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8. So, we don't have an exactly middle point. So, we can take either 69 or 70 as the middle point. So, I have taken 70 as the middle point. You can take even 69 as the middle point. So, define dx as x minus 70. In the previous method, we were calculating the actual mean and then subtracting x from that actual mean. But in this assumed mean, we are assuming the mean to be 70 and then subtracting x from 70 and denoting dx by x minus 70. Similarly, dy corresponding to the 70, we have 165 as y. So dy is equal to 1 minus 70, 1 minus y minus 165. Now we require what? Dx column is required, dy column is required, dx into dy column, dx square and dy square columns are required. So first we'll write x and y. We will calculate dx, dy, then dx, dy, dx square and dy square. So we have to form the table. Now x is given, calculating dx. dx is x minus 70. Subtracting each value of x from 70. 62 minus 70 minus 8. 64 minus 70 minus 6. 65 minus 70 minus 5. 69 minus 70 minus 1. 70 minus 70 is 0. 71 minus 70, 1. 72 minus 70, 2. 74 minus 70, 4. Similarly, each value of y has to be subtracted from 165 because this is the assumed mean. We have assumed this as the mean. So 126 minus 165 minus 39, 125 minus 165 minus 40. Similarly, subtracting each values of y from 165, we get dy column. Now multiplying dx into dy, minus 8 into minus 39, minus 6 into 40, 5 into minus 5 into minus 26. Writing the dx dy column, square of dx is dx square and square of dy is dy square. And then as summation dx is required in the problem, summation dy, summation dx dy, summation dx square and summation dy square are required in that formula. We will be calculating accordingly those summations and substituting these summations in the formula to get the value of the coefficient of correlation. This was the formula by the direct method. Okay, I'm just replacing x by dx and y by dy, writing the same formula and then substituting for this dx, dy, dx, dy and all these things and calculating the value of r. All these summations we have calculated in the previous table, substituting these values, and the answer comes out to be 0.9031. which is again a positive correlation, and the value of r lies between -1 and +1. You have to make sure that the value of r lies between -1 and +1. That's very important. One more we can do with the same method. We have to write dx and dy. Now how many entries are there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Again we have an even number of datas. So middle point will be either 42 or 44. So I can take it as 42 in this case. Dx is x, either you can take 44 or 42. So dx is x minus 42 and correspondingly dy will become y minus 27. So form the table with columns dx, dy, dx dy, dx square and dy square. We have x and y. With the help of x and y, we can write dx column, dy column, multiply dx dy, we'll get this dx dy term, then dx square and dy square. So we have x datas here, subtracting each values of x from 42, 52 minus 42, 42 minus 42, writing this dx column. Similarly, subtracting y from 27. So 10 minus 27 minus 17, 26 minus 27 minus 1, 41 minus 27, 14, etc. Then multiplying dx into dy. So 10 into minus 17 minus 170. 0 into minus 1 is 0. Minus 4 into 14 minus 56 and multiplying all these. Similarly, square of these numbers. 10 square is 100, 0 square is 0, minus 4 square is 16, etc. And then similarly square of dy, So we can write all these summations. These summations are required in that formula. So calculating summation dx, summation dy, summation dx dy, summation dx square and summation dy square. Substituting all these values in the formula for r, we get the value of r to be minus 0.7446. So we get a negative correlation and the value of r lies between minus 1 and plus 1. Okay, so I've shown you 3 methods to calculate Karl Pearson's coefficient of correlation. You can apply any one of them. They will not specify in the exam that you have to solve by these particular methods. You can solve by any one of them, whichever you feel is simple. Okay, just calculate that and make sure that R value lies between minus 1 and plus 1. So thank you. See you in the next lecture. Some of the practice problems which you can try.